All right. Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday, February 21st, as we are coming in here live with none other than Miss Kim Lyons on our mid-challenge checkup. Some of us are super excited. Some of us are in a lot of pain for these last few weeks. How many of you guys have figured out that Kim is a leg assassin? Like, she wants to literally kill. She's like it's like, I don't even know where to start. I hate you and I love you and everything in between. And sometimes I honestly thought I left my soul at the hotel one day in our event in Italy. But one of the incredible things about having access to these programs that are so short and sweet and something that you can do really anywhere. So, I was in a location, I didn't have a gym, but, I got access to Kim Lyons and, through this program. So I'm super grateful. There's a lot to unpack here now that we've been kind of diving into this, but by show of hands, I know most of you don't have your camera on. By show of hands, you can drop some hearts or drop a comment here. How many of you guys are excited about all the amazing content that is inside of our Club Fit app? So that's right. So get them up, and let us know. We are there's the hearts coming in. So we've got so much more for you and so much more for us to understand and for us to update. I want to let you guys know when this challenge ends in about 4 weeks from now, there is going to be an option for you to be able to continue to use your application. It's going to be a small monthly charge, something around $5. We're still figuring that out with our company, so I'll let you guys know all the details on that, to be able to still continue to use the workout, still be a part of the community, and not only that, be able to get the recipes and all the things and be able to keep tracking yourself as we continue on your challenge because Club Fit isn't, it's not a 60-day challenge, it's a forever challenge. Your health is a lifelong challenge, and we want to continue those habits in the right direction. The second thing I want to let you guys know before I turn it over here to Kim is we have our event this weekend. For many of you guys that participate in the business side of Secret, we have our convention for North America that's going to be coming up in Atlanta called Playbook. It's going to be happening on Saturday and Sunday over there right outside of Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm so excited that Kim is going to be having our first debut over here on our Secret event stage. Not only is she going to be joining us on the stage, she is going to be doing a live workout session on Sunday only for our Club Fit challengers. So you got to be in the club. You're going to be in the cool kids club, right? I mean, that's, Club Fit is like the cool kids club, right? So, we have these. If you guys haven't seen them yet, we got your Club Fit challenge bands for everybody that's going to be at Playbook that register for Club Fit. You're going to be getting it. And also, we are going to be launching the next Club Fit challenge, and the registration is going to be opening at this coming event. We're going to give you a lot more details about it. There's also some very big announcements and specials that we're going to be offering to you and to all of your customers and all of your new challengers, the new people that are going to be participating in our next program. And what's super exciting is because of this app and how it works, we're going to be able to be just adding more people to the community. So there's just more people that are there to inspire us with what we're doing. Now, I've got some things that I'm going to request of us over this next 4 weeks as we go through this challenge. And one of those things is this. I have been guilty of this. I'm super guilty of this. So I'm speaking to you as much as I'm speaking to me on this, because I am not a trainer in it. I'm a participant in this challenge with you guys, and I've been getting my butt kicked in a good way. But it's one of those things where, when you haven't been out of working out consistently, you're always like, why did I stop? Like, what is wrong with me? So I have given full permission to anybody who knows me, if they see me not consistently on my Club Fit challenge, to nicely slap me in the face, so I mean, not like really hard, but you know what I mean, just enough, like a love tap, right? Enough for me to go like, hey, wake up, buddy, like, what are you doing? Because that's one of the things I love about this is the accountability. It's the community, and it's one of the things I think that almost all of us have really been inspired by. I know myself, of everything you're doing, and a lot of it is being very courageous and very brave of putting yourself out there during this challenge. So there's some things I'm going to ask you to do halfway through. I'm going to ask you to do a weigh-in. I'm going to ask you to remeasure yourself. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about that as we go through the program of some things to do. But one of the things that I'm going to ask all of you guys to do here, hang on a sec, guys. Let me get over to our participants here and see. I've got a couple people unmuted. So I'm going to mute and allow participants to mute themselves. Nope, not yet. Okay. in the community section, right? We're posting in there. We're posting up our proof of sweat. We're posting up there food is fuel, our show our shape, all those different things that we're posting inside of their community. But here's the thing, take a second to not just scroll, but to like and comment. Do that. And I know for many of us, we're like, well, it's not that big of a deal. It is a big deal, right? So when somebody posts up there, let them know, just put a like, put a comment, put a like, put a comment, a little thumbs up just goes a long way, right? So instead of just scroll, like. So make that as a part of contributing to the community. It's something that we can do to continue to inspire and encourage each other inside of our community platform there, which is going to be really exciting. So a couple things we're going to be doing. I am going downstairs right after we're done with this. I'm going to do my weigh-in halfway through. I'm also going to be doing my measurements again, and we're going to be loading that into the system for you guys so you guys can see that. I also would recommend, it's not mandatory, by the way, for the contest, but I would recommend doing a mid-challenge photos, right? So do your photos again. You'd be surprised because the scale is a liar. I'm letting you guys know. Right? A lot of the times it is not your friend, because you're going to see your transformation show up a lot more in your body readjusting from some of the things that you've been doing. And plus, as we know that, dropping weight versus adding muscle, you're going to see a big difference. Some things are going to happen. Now, I'm super grateful because I have found some inflammation and some release that's happened over these first 4 weeks. But it was like immediately lost a few, and then I felt stuck for a little while. And that's going to be part of the process as we're all doing this together. However, every single one of you guys, I truly want you to take on that. I am so freaking proud of you guys. Like, seriously, you have no idea. So of what it is that you've been doing, what it is that you guys have been contributing, and the purpose of this and the purpose of this program is truly inspiring people to be able to live your best life. And we've said it before, if you think, if you think health is expensive, try illness. Like that's a whole nother ball game. And what we're doing is we're either building our health or we're losing it day by day. And every single one of us that is participating in this and making small steps of achievement is on a track to creating this. Now, for some of you, I want you to take a quick second and stop beating yourself up for not doing as much as you wanted to. You're going to have to let that go, so because that is not going to be helpful for you. And now, but take it on yourself. I'm going to be doing a little bit more. We're not looking for perfection here. We're looking for progress. And many of you have made strides in progress over the course of these first 4 weeks of furthering your health in a positive direction in the last 4 weeks than you've done in the last 4 months. Then some of you done in the last 4 years. And some of you have done in the last 4 decades, right? So, they say Rome wasn't built in a day. Like, I didn't build this gut in a day. I've been working on this thing, so it's almost like I was working on my before picture for far too long. But what I'm saying is, we didn't build some of these things. So some of the things that we have done over the course of our years, we didn't build in a day. It's not going to come off in a day either. So give yourself some patience, but just knowing that you're doing the right things and the right steps. If you're staying on your habits and your habit tracker and you're staying on your program and following it, some of it is just getting an education that you have never gotten before on certain things. Like if you guys watched the one about clearing out your pantry just yesterday, holy cow, like sometimes it's just the small bits of information that are going to make a huge difference at these 1%ers as we continue to go. So that was my long introduction. I got a few things to wrap up with you on the end, but I want to turn it over here to our trainer and to our nutrition and the person who's really put together this simplified program, the simplified nutrition, the simplified workout programs that we are all truly enjoying. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Kim Lyons. Welcome to the Zoom.
What's up, guys? 30 days. So doing pretty good, right? But let me guess, most of you are probably to the point now where you're like, okay, I haven't done everything that I wanted to do. I'm doing a little bit of it, but maybe when you started, you had epic goals, and then real life happens and you realize, okay, I have like so many other things on my plate. I cannot crush everything all at one time. And I just want to tell you guys, regardless of whether you have made one recipe, if you have watched a few videos, however much you have been able to commit, you are doing it. And that is something that you have to be proud of. Most of the people that are successful on this program, are at it for a while, and you kind of have to take things in at bite sizes depending on where you're starting and how aggressive you want to go, and also how much time, how many kids, how much work. There's so many different variables that come in there, but there is a lot of content, and I don't want anyone to ever feel like they aren't doing enough, because I am super proud of you for just signing up. And like I said, if you take nothing away, then just maybe some more recipes or a few different habits of cooking, then you are on the right path. So take a second, give yourself a huge pat on the back. So something I really want to do today is, if you guys have any questions or if you're stuck anywhere, please write those in the comments. I'll be going through those, and Jesse's going to help too as we kind of filter through all those. But today I kind of want to take some time to go through the meal plan and think out loud through it how I want you to think through it, okay? Because I know a lot of these foods are probably new and they're different, and it's kind of the biggest change for people is the eating process. And when you start eating foods that are anti-inflammatory and foods that keep you full, and you're prioritizing protein and you're getting your fiber, so many things come together, but it is a lot to change. So I'm going to go through the meal plan and think out loud as how I want you guys to go through it, rather than looking at it, getting overwhelmed and going, oh my gosh, I just can't. All right, so I'm going to share my screen and bring up the meal plan. All right. Can you guys see that? Give me a nod if you can see the meal plan, or are you still seeing yourselves? Okay, good. All right, so when you look at this meal plan, the very first thing I want you guys to do is to go to this little graph here and go, okay, what is a hard no? Like, what is something that you're like, I am not eating that? Okay, so say it is, say it's maybe salmon. Say you're just not a fish person at all. And that's the first thing I go, okay, what can I replace in that category? Now, fish is going to be an omega. So that's what we're kind of going for. You guys will notice in every single week, I have a variety of proteins. So maybe you're thinking, okay, I don't really love salmon. Maybe I'll double up tuna. Maybe I'll make some more tuna and then I'll have extra for the next day. But maybe I'll replace that with a tuna melt or something like that. Just try and swap things one for one. I don't put a lot of pork in there, but maybe you want to change your chicken for pork this day. Or maybe you really don't want to do cod. Again, that's a simple change. Go, okay, maybe I'll do some ground turkey or some ground chicken, or maybe you have tilapia already or something different. So start thinking about simple swaps that you can make. Maybe you go up here and you're like, oh, I have some extra blueberries. I'm going to throw those in. I'll make it a blueberry shake. Maybe you have extra romaine in your fridge and you decide, okay, maybe I'm not ready to go with the kale yet. So you can swap that out. Everything in here, try and do berries for berries, dark greens for dark greens. You can do, spinach would be a good substitution here. So try and go through this, even if you have extra turkey in your fridge and you don't have ham in your fridge. Okay, maybe you'll do a turkey sandwich here instead of a ham sandwich. So that's the first step that you want to take. Then from there, you're going to go down into this list that looks like it's a lot, but when you really break it down, chances are you have a bunch of these condiments already. You probably have most of the spices already, and your frozen stuff are things that are pretty easy. I mean, 6 ice cubes, I'm not even sure why that's on the list. I use a software that's actually kind of funny. I've never seen ice cubes on the list. But you can go through here and just cross off everything that you have and replace it. Like I said, with the ham, I said, okay, let's change that for turkey since I already have that, or whatever. So just go through and kind of process the things that you want to change. If you see an ingredient on here, like watermelon radishes, I'm like, do I really need that? There's going to be some people that, you know what? I've never bought that. I'm curious. It's probably some nutrients in there. I don't know what Kim's thinking, but it's probably there for a reason. So maybe I'll try it, or I just don't want to add one more thing to my list this week. That's probably something that can go. Okay. So it's really personable as to what you want to do with this list. Again, going back, if you already have tilapia, use tilapia. If you have, ground chicken instead of ground turkey, you guys get the point, right? You kind of see Like here, I would go the gluten-free bread and the sourdough bread and the whole wheat tortillas. You know, I would kind of go through and say, okay, I don't really have a lot of bread eaters in the house. I'm just going to get sourdough because I'll be able to use it in this recipe too. Okay. So you can see how you can go through and really, really personalize this list. Then I'll go through the recipes and I'll kind of highlight the ones that I definitely want to make. And again, ones that I want to modify. So you can see how simple this is. And when I put this stuff together, there's your 6 ice cubes in case you want to pick those up at your grocery store. You know, like this is the one I like to make these simple. This is my standard protein shake. And then from there, I'll go, okay, I have bananas. So I'm going to throw in half of frozen banana. I'm going to throw in some berries. I'm going to throw in some, you know, something else, and just go through these all and customize them to you. Okay. So really easy. And you can also, as you go through these, think about what you can do ahead of time. Hard-boiled eggs. It's one of my favorite things to food prep. It's so easy. And I actually do them in the Instapot. Incredible. I will never cook boiled eggs any other way. Just throw them in the Instapot and voila, they come out perfect every time. And, you know, just go through all of these recipes and see what really sounds good. See what you think. Like I would take this, you know, coconut milk and I would change that for almond milk because it's already in my refrigerator. So start to think about things in a really practical swap method. You know, maple syrup. If I want to make this sugar-free, like Canto makes a fantastic monk fruit maple syrup. So maybe your goal is to just be a little less sugar. And you know, even though 1 teaspoon is not going to make a difference, if you really want to go that extra step and do it sugar-free, then that's the perfect way to go. Also with the pumpkin seeds, I'm not just going to buy pumpkin seeds for one recipe. So maybe I'll go, okay, this is a perfect snack for me to have during the week. So maybe I'll take those extra pumpkin seeds, portion them out into some mini snack-sized bags, and have those on hand at my desk or in my car. Going through again, I just bought a bunch of raspberries because they were on sale at Sprouts. So maybe I will chop out or switch the strawberries for raspberries. Another thing, so one red bell pepper. Maybe I want to snack on some red bell pepper. Love it. I always eat some when I'm chopping it up. So maybe I'll slice up an extra one, get a few more polyphenols in there, get a little extra nutrients, and I'll snack on red pepper with my pumpkin seeds. So you guys can kind of see, by the way, these are really plain, these muffins, so plain, so good with some honey. So if you make a recipe and you're like, oh, this is so boring, it's so plain, jazz it up, you guys. Add what it needs, add some honey, add a little bit of peanut butter is really good on these. Almond butter is good on these. This, you know, coconut oil, not my favorite on there texture-wise, it tastes good, but they're good with moisture. But anyway, you guys can start to see the trend through here. Even as I go through here, arugula, I have spinach, so I'm going to use that. Maybe the zucchini, you figure I haven't bought that for a really long time. Maybe it's time to really start switching up some of the vegetables. Buy something unique. Don't get stuck in a rut. So as I'm going through and I'm thinking about these replacements, even though you want to use what you have on hand, you want to use some seasonal things, you also have to get out of your comfort zone and start to try things that maybe are not on your radar. The bacon, what I usually do with this is I will cook it ahead of time. I will take the rest of it and I will freeze it. And there's a great way, actually, if you guys don't know, look this up. I think it's on Pinterest or TikTok or one of those, where you take all your bacon and you roll it out or you put it on parchment paper and you roll it and you can cut individual little, like one serving. I got to find that video. I'll post it. It's so cool. Such a great idea for taking out little pieces of bacon so that you don't have to have it all in the fridge and go bad. I'm really big about not throwing away food. So I freeze a lot. I have all kinds of fun little hacks for even making portion size spaghetti sauce. Like I just froze that in a silicone baby food freezer. So it's a bunch of little things, but it's individual portions. So anyway, but start to think really creatively about how you can make these recipes yours. These are amazing, by the way. And as you start to go through, you're going to start to see some common ingredients, which you're probably already starting to see, things like coconut flour, almond flour, coconut oil. Let's see, there's quite a few repetitive ingredients. So don't be afraid to buy these flours that are a little bit different. They store really well in the freezer, especially the coconut flour. I was recently at my parents' house and I had to buy a huge bag of coconut flour. I'm like, it's going to take me a year to use this much coconut flour. So store it in the freezer and then it's good for a long time. But those do tend to go bad because they're nuts. Let's see. So this is another thing, like I would go through this and see what can I make ahead of time? Can I make this chicken ahead of time? And when you break this down and you look at all the ingredients, there's not that many when you take out the seasonings and everything that you probably have on hand. So don't be intimidated by these recipes. Another thing you could do here is you're looking at the brown rice. Maybe you're already making quinoa for the week. So maybe you food meal prep a ton of quinoa ahead of time and have that ready for these other recipes. So you can start to see how all of this can come together really quickly and really easily, but it does take a couple minutes to sit down with a pen and paper and really go through everything and make sure that you are covering all of your bases. And what I mean by covering all the bases is variety. Make sure that you're getting different colors, different fruits, different vegetables. And we get more into the importance of that later on as we go. But, you know, in a nutshell, everything different that you eat feeds a different part of that gut bacteria. And you want a lot of diversity in your gut bacteria so that your immune system can be strong. And, you know, it just, your energy will be better. So when we get stuck in eating the same foods over and over again, we end up with a very small population of bacteria in our gut, and we want diversity. So many different things that you can do here, you guys, with these recipes. Is this helpful, or does this let me know in the chat if this is like helpful for you guys, if this kind of starts the wheels turning. You know, in my other group, it took me a really long time before I went through this meal plan like this with people, and they were all like, oh my gosh, I'm so much more excited about the meal plan because I really can digest it. No pun intended, digest it, get it. So anyway, and this hummus pasta right here, this is one of all-time favorites with the members. Everybody loves this pasta. It's so easy. And it's one of those things that who would have thought of putting hummus on pasta before? It's amazing. So give that one a try. And, you know, and as you go through this, where are those? I'm trying to think about, oh, here. So, you know, I talked about the watermelon radish. So you guys, you know, if you have company coming over, you know, the watermelon relish, it's fun. It's something different. My son loves these. It's just, they look like little watermelons on there, and it's fun for people to eat something different, unique. But again, don't feel like it's a must if you just need to limit your grocery store or your groceries. Yeah, all the basics. Like I would bake this chicken ahead of time if I know I've got a crazy busy schedule coming up. I do a lot of shredded chicken as well. For some reason, I just think it's so easy. I literally take it, again, throw it in the Instapot and cook a bunch of chicken all at once, shred it up. And you can use shredded chicken for everything. It's amazing. Tacos, fajitas, anything. And then just coming up with some ideas of, you know, quinoa is really good. Add a little lime and some coconut milk to it. And it's just like, boom, you have a whole nother dish going on. So getting those creative wheels turning and knowing that when you have coconut milk, you might have looked at that in the past as going, oh my gosh, it's so high fat, I don't want that. But now you've been through that chapter and you know how good those fats are for your body. Your brain is using those as fuel. You're never going to see any islander fat from coconut, guys. It doesn't happen. So know the good fats from the bad fats. Again, just coming in here, getting some red meat. You can swap this out for flank steak or whatever you have, even if there's well, any red meat. Look for what's on sale, look for what you like and swap it into these recipes. And if you haven't tried this, by the way, I dogged on this a little bit in the beginning, just because I know there's a lot of people that, you know, maybe don't love salmon or just aren't great at cooking it. This recipe is to die for. It is so good. So even if you're not a salmon eater, make this, okay? It might change your mind. It is so good. It's one of my family's favorites. And again, with the grilled vegetables, a lot of the time, especially in the winter, I live in California. I feel so sorry for some of you guys living in the snow. My gosh, people are getting dumped on right now. But I will make my grilled vegetables in the George Foreman grill. Everybody still have those suckers back in the day. I love my George Foreman grill. I'll just make them in there. So get creative, make it work for you. Let's see. This is really good too. Again, thinking about chickpeas outside the box, trying to add in a little bit more protein. And that's exactly what I'm doing here with the chickpeas, giving your digestive system maybe a little bit of break from meat if that's what you want to do. Again, I talked about maybe having some shredded chicken on hand. If you want to increase your protein even more or increase the volume of this, maybe you throw in some chicken chunks. There's endless variety of things that you can do to each one of these. Ground turkey, I love this one with ground turkey, but if you have any maybe ground bison or ground beef, you can mix that up. If you have green beans or maybe asparagus or something that you want to throw in for the broccoli, feel free to switch these up. Okay, so you can kind of see how all of those pieces come together, but this is exactly what I do. And when I go through with these meal plans, the number one thing that I am prioritizing is your protein. Okay, I want you to hit those protein numbers and then the fiber. So those are two things that I really focus on, along with the diversity of the foods. So when you manipulate it to fit your individual needs, I want you guys to also focus on the protein, the fiber, the variety, and just making sure that you're not hungry, adding in those extra snacks that aren't going to sabotage you with ingredients that are already in the meal plan so that you're not falling into old habits. I mean, it's okay if like maybe one little thing slips in your cart, like a cookie or a chip or just one little thing. But we don't want to go overboard with that. All right. So you guys, questions, let's bring them on, throw them in there. And Jesse, let me know if you have any that you saw.
Absolutely. So a couple of questions, guys, that I got, and we're going to answer some of them as we go. Before we do so, just a couple of things I think is going to answer a few of the questions is, let me pull up here. I'm going to just pop into our app here real quick. So first off is, wait, so I'm actually already down 9 pounds. What's up, yo? From logging in. So one of the things you want to do here is when you're going into your goals, obviously you've got your goals, you got your target stuff over here, and you got your progress, right? So when you're going to be adding a weight, right? So you can add a weight, and then when you add it, it's going to save it, and then it's going to have, you're going to see all of the different things in the progress start to move into there. I just only added one on accident. That's why my graph looks weird. I was just playing around with it right now. But when you hit see more, it's going to show you your different weigh-ins, right? So these are the ones that I kind of messed up. So when I first started the challenge, 203 and down, so you're going to start seeing your history there and get your before and afters. Like this would be another time to take some pictures and put them in here from your midway progress, because you can do your before and after in 30 days and your before and after in 60 days. So you can start seeing that inside of the app. Outside of that, like I told you, from a community standpoint, we want to obviously be doing that. There's some other features you're going to see coming in here, but down on the bottom, right? So one of the things is under portal, right? Your portal is going to have your week by week updates. So we are now in week number 4. So somebody said, oh, I was just looking at, some of you guys were just going here to the recipes and you were just looking at recipes, which are great. And there's so many great things in here. We know when you need something, but Kim's actual meal plan is going to be here under the module. So when you click on module 4, this is your week 4, right? And you get a chance. This pantry tour, if you haven't got, you got to watch that, right? She talked about freezing, in your fridge and your freezer and some certain things. These are all just incredible things, time-saving tools. And down here at the end of it is week number 4 is the plan. So this is exactly what she went through. Now, again, you can log into your desktop. You can send this obviously to your printer, print this off, or if you want to just have it here, or you want to print just the first couple pages of whatever it is. And one of the things that somebody told me is I am not the best at going up and down the aisles. It's just, I'm not good at it. I get lost and then I end up buying a whole bunch of random stuff. Here's a great way. There's a lot of companies now that are very, very, very inexpensive. And when you take a look at the time that you spend away from all these things for that small extra service charge of Instacart and some of these things where you can just go click, 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 add, ship, and then you've got it. Now, I know that's not available for everybody, but those are a few tips that I've been getting from some people that have been coming through. So Kim, I'm going to go back here and head on up. And by the way, if people don't like salmon, you're weird. Just saying. I'm just,
right?
Like,
and actually, Heidi just said too that week 4 is posted twice. So I'm looking in there now, but yeah, that might be a a double up. I'll check on that and make sure that that's not in there twice. It must be. If you said it is, I believe you. So I'll make sure that we get that swapped out so that you guys have week 5. I'd love to say that was on purpose just to make sure you guys are on it, but no, it was not. Let's see.
We'll make sure. One of the things, Kim, that we had a question about is on workouts, right? So I think one of the first questions that came here from, where was it? I just saw it.
I saw it too about the modifications.
Jumping jacks, right? So some modified moves if I get pressure on the knees. So you got some advice for us on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys make sure that you watch the grit cardio workout that was in week 1, because that workout was presented first so that you could see different levels of those cardio moves. So I'll show you jumping jacks. We literally do the step out jacks into a full jumping jack into a power jack. So don't be scared of those cardio workouts. Go back, watch that grit one so that you know those modifications. Now, with any of the squats and lunges, if they are hurting your knees, if you don't have an official diagnosis from a doctor telling you not to do those exercises, the reason that they might be hurting you is because you have weakness around those, and the exercises are going to help you. So don't feel like you need to go all the way through the full range of motion right away. Start with what you can do that's comfortable. And the most important thing when you are doing any type of squat or lunge is to make sure that your knees don't buckle inward, okay? That buckling inward of the knees takes that joint from this position, bending like this, into a position like this, where it's making it really uncomfortable. So you have to make sure that those knees are pushed outward, and that's gonna actually be coming from the glute. So, as soon as we're off this call, I want everyone to do a squat and then think about pulling those knees outward. If your feet are like this on the floor and you go into a squat and your pressure goes on the inside of your feet, that's your first hint that your knees are buckling. You always want the weight to be on almost like the outer edges of your feet, not the inner edges, okay? That's gonna hurt. It's gonna jack up your joints. You've got to make sure that you're using those glutes to pull those legs open and make sure that that weight is being distributed equally. So you can also use the back of a chair to help you and assist you. You can even do almost a sit-stand position with a pillow on your couch to elevate it a little bit more so that you sit down and stand up, and maybe that will help. But honestly, there are so many modifications and there are so many reasons to modify that while, yes, I can absolutely show you these, it's really important for you to listen to your body and know if an exercise is like, if you're doing something and you're like, this hurts and not the right way, don't do it. Okay. Don't do it. March in place. Do another exercise that is similar but feels better for you. There's just so many ways to skin a cat. So I hope that helps. And at the event this weekend, that is one thing that we will 1000% focus on. I will do a Q&A at the end, and we'll also work through those modifications, because I can modify any exercise. And that's one of the most important things, is really to be able to know how to modify all those. So if you have individual questions at the event, I will be able to tackle all of those.
Awesome. Now, do you use canned chickpeas or dry chickpeas?
You know what, guys? I use canned. It's probably so much more budget friendly to use the dried ones. I'm just not going there. It's kind of like steaming your own beet. You guys, I've never steamed my own beet. I buy them all ready to roll, like at Trader Joe's. I just buy them ready to go. So totally personal preference. If you want to soak those little suckers and everything, then really not a huge difference versus the canned. They're fine canned or either or, and they are good in the air fryer. Somebody said that too. Makes a fantastic snack in the air fryer. Oil those little guys up, put some seasoning on, throw them in the air fryer. They're like a little crunchy guy. Pretty good.
I gotcha. And Kim, by the way, I think I found out where our duplicate is. It looks like the meal plan for week 4 is in week 3. So someone saw it in the week 3 and now in week 4.
Yeah. So and that's a little bit a little confusing, because I think week 5 is supposed to be in module 4. So I think that's where the confusion came in the loading.
We'll
Yeah,
make sure
so we'll
we'll
get
make
that
sure and
fixed.
get you we'll make sure and get you the other week of amazing recipes
Yes.
for you guys and your and meal plan here. So, chances are, I'm just saying, it's probably likely you missed a few in the week, so you can pick up on
Just
those
guessing.
again. Just guessing, right? So, the difference between measuring the waist and abdomen. So, I don't know.
I like to measure right at my belly button because it's
Okay.
just easy. It's consistent, and I know I'm going to hit the same spot every time. So, yeah,
Gotcha.
same
There we go.
difference.
So, okay. And a question here, what fruits are good to eat without too much sugar?
Berries. Okay. Berries are such a win-win all around. Blueberries are really good right now. At least they are here in California. See, I'm in California, so it's a little different for us out here. I feel like we have so much more fresh produce than even when I go to Colorado. I'm like, my gosh, where's all the produce? But yeah, berries and apples are literally the go-to. And you think about the brightness of the berries, and that's going to be something that's just a fantastic anytime snack.
Awesome. Any tips for working out with arthritis, especially in the ankles?
Oh gosh, I know that's so hard. That's such a bummer. I got bunions. It's another one of those things that's just, what do you do with that? I think a lot of it has to come down to how you're feeling that day. If your arthritis is flared up, then switch things up. Go into the workouts and maybe do another core workout. It, it takes time for that inflammation to go down, but if you're following the meal plan and following those anti-inflammatory foods, it really does help a lot. So focus on that if your arthritis is crushing you.
Yeah. So Ricky asks, how do you get the workouts on your laptop? So a couple things here, Ricky. So currently right now, the desktop version or the login version does not have access to it yet. We are working on that right now, but a couple of tips and tricks for you. So first off, most TVs now, if they're a smart TV, have a screen share option or a screencast option. So where you can cast from your phone to your TV is one option, and to your computer. So like good example is I'm on my phone. I have I'm Apple. So if you have an iPhone and you have a Mac, you can screencast. You can literally share from your phone to your computer to be able to watch it on your computer, have it bigger. Now, of course, we're looking forward to having that as one of the updates here. It is not scheduled for this challenge, just so you guys know. I don't want you to get your hopes up on that. There's some other great announcements, but it's something that we are currently working on with the tech team. And by the way, and if you can't figure that out, if you find a 12-year-old, they will show you how to do it. So it's pretty cool. They're good at that stuff. LaDonna said, I am so glad Kim linked arms with us. That is not a question, but it is stated as a question, but I think it's more of a statement. So, and
Yeah,
let's see.
I do see too, that the workouts are not on the front page. I will take care of that as soon as we get off. I did not know that was happening, but I will get on those ASAP. Yeah, you guys, and let us know anytime in the community. So I'm in there just about every single day reading and checking out every step. So if you ever don't see anything, make sure that you throw it in that community and I will tackle it for sure. I don't know why those aren't in there. I'm like, oh gosh, I hope they're up and going. Let's see what else.
And Shar said something here. So can you address the difference between sugars, piece of fruit versus processed sugar that's in the food? Because I think sometimes people think sugar is sugar, because we're like, oh, fruits have a lot of sugars in them, something like that.
Absolutely. Well, the difference is pretty easy. When you have a berry with sugar or a piece of fruit with sugar, you're also getting a ton of nutrients. So it's kind of a fair trade. And when you have sugar in fruit, you're also getting it with the fiber and the nutrients, which slows down that insulin spike that awful when your body gets a ton of sugar without fiber, without protein, without fat, without nutrients, it just sends your insulin levels through the roof, which makes your cortisol spike. It's this whole hot mess of a snowball that goes the wrong direction. So when you're getting that fiber and you're getting all those nutrients, you are getting an awesome deal. It's a full package. The one thing that you do want to be careful with is to know that whenever there's sugar from anything, your body's going to use that first for fuel. So, obviously things like blueberries, raspberries, even strawberries have very, very low sugar, high fiber content, high nutrients. Those are never going to be something that I wouldn't say don't eat a lot. As a matter of fact, when I was on The Biggest Loser, you guys, the one thing I would have the lady get me, my little assistant, every single day, I would be like, get me some blueberries. So she used to get me this little pack of blueberries, and I was like, no, I need blueberries. I had a 2-hour drive to and from the set. So on my way home every single day, every day, I ate one of those huge, those huge berry things, handfuls for 2 hours on the way home. That was like a staple. Never got fat eating blueberries. Okay. So I wasn't eating 15 bananas on the way home. That might have been a different ball game. So, you kind of have to use a little common sense in there. But again, berries overall are going to be your safe bet. But big difference from the white sugar that we're pouring in our coffee, or eating in a cookie, or drinking just straight out of a can and soda and things like that. And high fructose corn syrup is going to be the ultimate no-no. So high fructose corn syrup doesn't even have a chance to get burned. It is a nightmare in your body. So at all costs, avoid anything with that in there.
Awesome. So a question for you, because a lot of people obviously have kind of gotten addicted to this stuff over the course of the standard American diet, which we call SAD. Right. And part of it is because it's just in everything. So it's kind of like we just kind of got used to it. And so if you were looking to, I was with Dr. Cohn this weekend, and he pulled out, out of his baggie, and I was like, you're a drug dealer? And he was like, well, kind of. And I was like, where did you get this? He was like, it's organic, stevia. It's like the pure thing from the plant. And, and I'm like, we could get in trouble. Nobody knew what you were doing right now at this restaurant. So, but, one of the things I think is interesting is, what would be something, being like, okay, if I'm trying to wean myself off of some of these sugars, what is a good sweetener alternative that you would recommend to be able to use? Because sometimes I know from me, when I was making the transition from being so dependent on these sugars to like going none of it, and I was like, ooh, now it took me a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell you, sweeteners have come such a long way from the days of, Splenda, which was the best of the best back in the day. In fact, I wrote a book, and all my recipes in that book have Splenda in there, because at the time that was the best thing. That was in 2006. Now there are tons of great sweeteners out there. Monk fruit is one of my favorites because it doesn't have a real nasty, that taste that comes from a lot of the stevia products. If they're not really good stevia, it's Rubiana A I think that's it, A, that tastes good and doesn't leave that awful taste in your mouth. But I like a blend as well. So like Lancanto is honestly my favorite. I still say these guys should pay me because I'm always talking about how fantastic their products are. But Lancanto is a monk fruit blend. I think it's monk fruit and a little bit of erythritol. But it tastes just like sugar on everything. There is no reason to even buy white sugar. And it's kind of funny, when we were doing a lot of construction around our house, I'd make coffees for the guys every morning, and they were all wanted sugar. And I'm like, I don't have sugar in my house. And they all looked at my weird, Lakanto sweetener, and they're like, what is this? And I'm like, dude, just try it. Every one of them were hooked. By the time they were done with this house, all of them were asking for that, no longer cared about the sugar. But yeah, it is a transition because our bodies are so trained. Everything nowadays has sugar, it has canola oil, it has just so many bad ingredients that our body does get used to that. And when you slowly but surely change off of it, when you do have something that's really sweet, all of a sudden your taste buds are like, whoa, that is a lot of sweet, a lot of sugar. So you become a little bit more sensitive to it, and things that maybe weren't sweet to you in the past will be sweet now. So, but Lakanto is probably my go-to.
Awesome. Another question here from Kim as we're wrapping up here. We got a few more minutes because I got to prepare for our next Zoom. How often would you recommend, or would you recommend intermittent fasting?
That's a good question. Really good question. In fact, for those of you that are tuned in about the membership area, I am doing a whole special right now on intermittent fasting, because it is very technical, especially for women more than men, because as we go through the menstrual cycle, there is certain times that fasting is not ideal. So listen to your body. Intermittent fasting is something that I feel like is so critical for our bodies in so many ways. And if, and that we do get to that farther down in the chapter, so we'll get into more detail of it. But if you've already started that, my recommendation is to always go for 12. Always go for 12 hours between meals. Everybody, all the time, at least 12 hours. If you have dinner at 7, you don't have breakfast till 7. That's across the board. But when you start getting into the 16-hour fast, listen to your body. If you wake up hungry, eat. Okay. Don't think about it. No, I have to starve myself. I'm intermittent fasting. That is not the way to go about it. Always prioritize your body and those messages that your body is sending to you over science of fasting. Okay. And if you do feel like maybe you are between that 12-hour and that 16-hour transition where you're like, I'd like to make it to 16 hours, but I'm not sure if it's just like a mental thing that I want to eat, try things like having a cup of bone broth or a big glass of water even sometimes can help. There's all kinds of different ways that you can ease into that fasting. But bone broth is probably one of my favorites because you can sip it and it just kind of is that little comfort that we're looking for. But I do go into a lot more detail of that. And you guys can always Google, fasting, intermittent fasting for women, and you'll see the hormonal phases and what works best for women. But I'm working on a little document of that right now as we speak.
Very cool. So just so you guys know, for those of you guys that are unfamiliar with the term, intermittent fasting is where you have a window during your 24 hours that you are eating and then a window you are not eating, right? So when she's saying 12 and 12 is, so you have 12 hours you're eating and 12 hours you're not eating. That's the break. So if you have a meal at 7 a.m., then your end meal is 7 p.m. And from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., there's no food, right? So which is actually probably a pretty good idea, is not to eat after a certain time. Those kind of those big things. And kind of breakfast being the most important meal of the day is the way that you break your fast, because it's the first thing you're introducing after you generally had sleep and generally had it is something that's going to fuel you. So for me, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, when I have a shake and greens, secret shake and greens to break my fast, meaning whatever it is, whether it's intermittent fasting or whether it's just up in the morning and my body knows exactly what to do with it and is like, yes, this is real fuel for my system in order for me to get my day started. It is dramatically different. Like even when I was this last week in Tulum, Mexico, and they have breakfast with the hotel, so it's like one of those things where I'm like, feel like I'm missing out, but out of the 4 days, I only had breakfast one morning. And I said, I'll do my shake and greens for lunch, right? Because normally it's shake and greens in the morning for me. And it was an interesting thing because the morning that I had the shake and greens, like by midday, I'm like, I am so tired. Like what is going on? Because my body is now like, you messed up, bro. Like it was almost like immediate punishment, not in a bad way, but just in hey, we need it. So here's the thing, guys. One of the things is if you're out there right now and you have not gotten a chance to start introducing some of the other Life by Secret products into your arsenal here and getting these little soldiers to go to work for you here, it's time to add something, right? So one of the things I would highly recommend for many of us is one of my biggest issues, which is your gut health. And so if you have not picked up our Digestex, our digestive enzyme, and add that into before your meals to help you with that digestion, I think it's an important product to put into your repertoire. So if you haven't played around with Curb, man, there's an incredible product that's got some incredible benefits for that. Of course, everything that we have in our product line is spectacular. They are all uniquely amazing. I believe they're all little superheroes, and together they form the Avengers and, kill and destroy evil, that's out there. But at the same time, I want to absolutely encourage you to be able to get on it. Now, we're going to be doing some other things and some more specials, as you guys are going to be seeing coming into this next challenge, because you guys are going to be in the middle of your challenge, really, when we are launching the next opportunity for people to participate in the March 6th challenge that's coming up here this weekend. So I don't know if there's any other last questions that we have here. So Energy will be back shortly. I just got confirmation that it is on its way through production. For some of you guys that know, usually if there's an issue with a product, as you guys know, our nutrition line, Dr. Cone does not compromise on ingredients. You know, we never will. So, and for everything to be USDA certified organic, for us to put it on the label, and you got to remember, we have the informed sports certification, which means everything is tested for everything and banned substances by batches. So a lot of the times, if you're seeing a delay on a product, it's typically because a specific ingredient was almost impossible to find of the quality that we hold our products and standards to. And so I don't know which particular one it was, because I remember the greens was like, we had an issue with it. And it was like organic alfalfa we couldn't find, you know, so, and because the farm, anyway, is what it is. So, but good news is you're going to be seeing that here coming up here shortly within a couple of weeks. So coming back into your store and using, let's see, any last thoughts here, comments for us as we go midweek, guys? I'm going to just throw this out there, guys, is get after it. So it is time. It's time to turn up a little bit of heat. It's time to turn up a little bit more. It's like, push yourself a little bit more. We don't want to push you into your shock zone, but you know, there is no more growth in your comfort zone, right? It's time for us to get a little uncomfortable. You know how uncomfortable I'm thinking about getting? I'm thinking about actually jumping into my pool to do this little polar plunge thing that I'm terrified to do because it's cold, but I know how good it is for me. And I'm like, oh, I got to do it. I'm going to go do it. Probably film it and post it because I hate you guys.
Jesse, I have to give you a little inspiration on that. So I did the contrast sauna ice bath thing, and it was, you know, one of these openings of a place called Pause. So they invited me to come, and I'm the same way. I'm like, hell no on the cold. Like, that is just no. And we went, and the first time I got into the cold pool, I put my ankles in. I was like, okay, that's good. I'm just going to do the hot part. And then I was sitting in the hot and I was like, this is ridiculous. I should be able to do this. So I got in, I got back into my waist, and I jumped back out, and I got back in, and my husband's laughing at me because he just thinks I'm nuts with all of this biohacking and whatnots. And I'm like, I'm doing this. I am getting in that tub. This is ridiculous. Like, why can I not do this? And I put my phone, and you know, you're supposed to go in for 3 minutes. That's when the magic happens. So I put my phone on the side, and I was like, I am doing this no matter what. And I was like, got in, did the breathing, got into here. And I sat there, and I was like, holding it for 3 minutes. I'm going for 3 minutes. I'm going for 3 minutes. And my husband comes out of the sauna, and he goes, are you going to get out? And I'm like, nope, I'm going for 3 minutes. And he goes, it's been like 5. And I looked at my clock, and I was like, holy cow, I just did 5 minutes. So just saying, mental, man, you got to just go, I am doing this. I'm doing it. So the mind is so powerful, but it did take me 3 or 4 ankle to waist to get, you know, the hell no, got to get kind of pissed at it before I actually got in, but highly recommend it. You're going to feel amazing. Absolutely amazing. But I'm still not doing the cold shower. I'm not ruining my shower every morning. That's where I draw my line. I'm like, I will get my mental mindset, but I'm not making my shower cold in the morning. Nope.
I get you. Well, I guys, this is it. So here's the thing. Go check in, go do some measurements, go get on that, you know, go get your halfway measurements here, and let's go put it in there. Here's the thing I'm going to encourage you to do. Post it in the group here. You have a supportive group of people who's going to inspire you to continue. But not only that, you are going to inspire somebody else, because there's somebody in this group, I can promise you, they're not on the Zoom right now, that is feeling already defeated and are already ready to kind of give up on it just because they feel like they didn't get much progress. And here's the thing. Between now and the end of the challenge, there's 100% left. Guys, it's a 30-day challenge from today. So don't sell yourself short. Let's go make every day count. Let's go get those progress in the right direction. I will see you guys in the app, and we will see a lot of you this weekend in Atlanta. Have a great day, guys. Bye.